congratulations to everybody. It was a bit nerve-wracking. Elections are contentious for everyone, but everybody did very well, so congratulations. We're all still together.
Oh, hello.
Hello. So let's get to the resolutions. Resolution 2526-70, resolution adopting the meeting minutes, or the minutes from the public hearing. Alderman Carpenter, from the public hearing on October 21st. Any questions? Okay. Resolution 2526-71, resolution adopting the minutes from the last common council meeting. Anybody have any questions for that? Jimmy is not here. Dan Gray is not here yet. I'll try to get through this one. I was hoping the mayor would be here. Maybe Mike can help with some of this. Resolution 2526-72, resolution declaring the 2650-2018 TAP Amsterdam pedestrian improvements a type 2 action under seeker. The city of Amsterdam was awarded funding by the New York State Department of Transportation for the 2650-2018 TAP Amsterdam pedestrian safety improvements, also known as Main Street, East Main Street, Bridge Street, complete project. Okay. So this, if you remember correctly, back in the summer, we had a meeting with state officials, and they were talking about Schuyler Street. They were talking about the end of the bridge. They were talking about that little street next to the Horgan building and the improvements that they want to do there. So that's what this is about, and it's being funded by the state. And when Dan gets here, he has come to the meeting as far as I know. When we move it, then if anybody's got any questions for Dan. Do you know anything about this, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I'm involved with the project. This is one component of the funding of the Complete Streets project. When you got state and federal funding like that, environmental review is a prerequisite prior to the funds have been obligated, but prior to actually going in the design, you got to go through the process, and that's what this represents. A type 2 action is not a severe or invasive action. It's not a type 1, which generally means a significant major action. Type 2 is generally maintenance improvements of public facilities to include sidewalks.
So if you look at the fourth whereas, it says the proposed project is considered a type 2 action under the seeker because it involves the replacement, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of existing sidewalk facilities and does not surpass any type 1 thresholds. Everybody pretty much understand? Okay. Resolution 2526-73, resolution authorizing 5-year contract with New York State Unified Court System, Alderwoman Collins.
The normal contract that we have every year. Chief, would you like some comment on it? Or just...
Yeah, it's just renewing it for the next 5 with the court system. They're a tenant basically in the public safety building, and just lays out what they pay us for that space. They share the cost of building maintenance and some of the cleaning fees that's built into it. I think as it's broken down, they occupy 35% of the square footage of the public safety building, so they share costs at that rate. So this is just a continuation of what we've had in the past.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody have any questions for the Chief? Resolution 2526-74, resolution approving audit, Alderwoman Collins.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, we're going to move on to a consent after that. Resolution 2526-75, consent. Resolution authorizing the mayor to renew our engagement with Millman Inc. for consulting services related to the actuary valuation in accordance with Government Accounting Standards Board Statement Number 75. That's a mouthful. Alderwoman Collins.
Okay, Louise, you're on. This is
an accounting standard that we're required to comply with. It was adopted about 10 years ago. We weren't in compliance until a couple of years ago. And this is just to renew our agreement with Millman. They provide the actuarial services that are necessary in order to, meet with this, be in compliance with the reporting guidance. This is basically increases transparency and of the post-retirement expenses to the city. That's really like kind of the fundamental reason behind this standard, is to promote awareness and transparency with regard to the costs of maintaining post-employment retirement benefits to our employees. There's a lot of projections involved. That's why we have an actuarial firm involved. We've used them for the last 2 years. We're, very satisfied with their work, and we're just renewing them for another 2 years, and that's kind of the cycle that will continue.
Do you want to read the fourth whereas so everybody knows the money amount?
You can read it now, or we can read it when we vote on whatever you
Okay.
like.
Anybody have any questions? All good? Then we have 3 ordinances, introductions, excuse me. Ordinance J of 2025 to be known as Ordinance 6 of 2025 if adopted. Introduction, and ordinance modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 225-58, Schedule 24, children at play, add sign to Wilbur Street at the intersection of Wilbur Street and Lindsay Street. Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Yes, this is requested children at play sign on Wilbur Street. I talked to the chief and he approved it and had it put up pretty quickly, and so we're just updating the code to match that.
Anybody have any questions for that? We're gonna schedule a public hearing on November 18th at 5:45 at our next meeting. The second ordinance, introduction, Ordinance K of 2025 to be known as Ordinance 7 of 2025 if adopted, introduction. An ordinance modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 228-58, Schedule 24, children at play, add sign Brookside Avenue and the intersections of Brookside Ave and Story Street, Alderman Holliday.
Yep, same deal as Alderwoman Quista Mars. She put it up really quick and that's it.
We're scheduling that public hearing on November 18th, also at 5:50. Cool. The third, Ordinance L of 2025 to be known as Ordinance 8 of 2025 if adopted, introduction, and ordinance modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 228-37, Schedule 3, school speed limit to add to Julia Street from Church Street to Young Ave. So back in 2016, when I believe it was Dave Dybus who sponsored that resolution to change the upper part of Church Street into a school speed zone to 15 miles an hour, they never, the actual Julia Street where the school is located was never added to the speed zone. So that speed limit is outrageous. And so the reason why I talked to Chief Spencer and Anthony about this is because we had a water main break there about a week and a half ago. And I was actually there in the morning right after it broke. And when people were dropping off their kids at school, and I could not believe how fast cars were going as Tony Schechter and those guys are working on that water main. They're flying. I mean, 35, 40 miles an hour in front of the street. So there was no speed limit signs. There's no zone there. So this is to rectify that situation. So, it's much safer for the kids. Anybody have any questions about that? Well, that didn't take long. Mike, would you like to go over your engineer's report?
Sure.
We have 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Stretch it out, Mike.
I've been known to. Okay, you're all aware, clubhouse project substantially complete and in service. A couple of remaining punch list items that are occurring as in the next few days. Paving program, with the exception of some minor punch list items, we're ready to wrap it up. It is done, it looks like this year, given the fact that we were able to bring it in under our projected budget, it looks like our total amount expended will be 1.85 million. Remember, our funding level was 2.23 million. So that difference right there of essentially 400,000 will roll into the state fiscal year 26-27 CHIPS allocation. So we'll have what I expect to be about an additional 400,000 available for us in
spring.
our 2026 construction season.
That's good news, Mike.
I will say, on any given year, we try to use all the money that's allocated. Fortunately, our estimating was successful this year, and we were able to reduce costs somewhat, considerably on the Church Street portion of the work. And
Market Street.
Pardon?
Market Street.
Market Street, sorry, you're right. I don't want to touch
That's
Church Street again for a while. We were able to reduce costs a little bit, still get it done, and so we added in a lot of additional streets. And now we're up against really the weather and the fact that the blacktop plants will be closing shortly. I don't know when, but generally you got to figure by the 15th. So there's a few things still left to do, minor touch-up work, but all in all, I'm really happy with the way the work came out this year. We heard before, water plant filter work continues, moving on to the third filter now. I don't know if anybody's been south side lately, look at the boardwalk, it's really taken shape. We're in the home stretch. If you want to go up there before it's open, then let me know. It's impressive and more impressive than honestly I expected it to be.
Maybe tomorrow I'd like to go over there. But
Yeah, the view's incredible.
Dan, can I ask you about the artwork that's gonna go on the boardwalk? Has that been ordered or how's that gonna work?
We haven't ordered it yet, but we will.
Okay,
I think the installation will be in the spring.
okay, so the question had been asked, and I don't want to interrupt, but I might as well do it now, about the grand opening for the boardwalk. I think we should probably wait till the spring, because then we'll have the water. Right? What do you think?
Well, Mayor, to your point, so we're, one of the last things being done are the railing and we're finishing up the plumbing. We are gonna run a full test on the splash pad and then shut it down.
Yeah.
And winterize it.
Yeah,
The artwork, I mean, if it's not ready now, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To delay that installation until,
Yeah.
spring weather.
We have a 95% chance of it being raining cold, no matter what.
Right. Council, do you have any problem waiting till spring?
I don't know.
No.
Seems like every time we do something, it's cold out.
I gotta get over there. I've been afraid to go on it without the railing.
Well, the railing's up now, the majority, all the furniture and benches and all the
Yeah, I can't wait. I
appurtenances
gotta get over there and see it, yeah.
really, it's impressive, and you don't realize what a view you have from there until you're
It's
standing
a
up.
monumental structure.
Pardon?
It's a monumental structure. The stairs make it just
And they're in place, the stairs all in place.
massive.
It is, and, I think we're all hopeful that it's gonna kind of be a catalyst for further development.
Sure. No, we've had already a couple parties interested in tying into that boardwalk. They are, it will add an element to it that I think will make it much more attractive for investment.
Now, I will say, and as a positive, one of the ancillary benefits to that project is underneath the concrete structure portion of it, where the splash pad and stairs and all of that are, there's a significant storage area. It's the size of a good sized garage, and I don't mean a personal garage, it's
huge.
so I think we're gonna wind up using that for some additional storage for equipment that gets shoved in some of our other facilities all the way to the back for it's a small benefit, but it's bigger than you would believe. So I was happy about that. We had an inspection there at the beginning of the week and went through the plumbing and what we had to do for winterizing it, because that's, obviously, with the splash pads, you gotta get them winterized and prepped for winter. That one's a little different because it's up in the air and you can get at everything underneath it. It'll get used. When we first built the splash pad at Vets, I was kind of doubtful as to, I couldn't envision what it was gonna be, and I don't think it was in service for a couple of hours before it was filled with kids. And the same thing on East Main Street. So I expect the same on the south side. Those splash pads are used all day long, every day it's warm.
That's a good point.
Hydrant flushing, we'll be wrapping that up beginning of next week. As I said, the blacktop plants will be closing. You gotta expect around the 15th. So we're trying to wrap up any patching. If there's anything, and I know we never run out of patching, but if there's anything major that anyone knows of now that we really should get before the winter, please let me or Bill Rocky know as soon as possible so we can try and target those and get them patched.
Could you take a minute and talk a little bit about our hydrant replacement and the issues we went through with when we ordered the new hydrants and,
Well, yeah, so we've got, if you remember, I think it was the end of last year, we bought 25. We used the vast majority of them. We bought additional hydrants. So there's a number of problems with the hydrant purchasing. In particular, the lead time is ridiculous today, especially for anything that's non-standard. When you put a hydrant in, the stem, the part you don't see, which is mostly underground, and you have to adjust for the depth of the water main. If it's anything other than a standard 5.5 foot barrel, they become special order. We've had all kinds of trouble with that, getting the non-standard heights. This was no different, but we have whittled down the number of hydrants that are out of service. You'll never get it down to 0 because there's still plenty of the old ones out there.
right, but some we ordered probably with the threading, right, in terms of being able to open them?
There was, I'm not really familiar.
It's when you were away. When you were away, Phil
sorry.
took care of it. The storage connector on the front of all the new hydrants, the salesman came and had them shipped back and had to be repaired.
I did hear about it. Yeah, so but you can swap those out.
Yeah, that's what he did. They went and they made sure that they were all going to work.
The storage nozzle is the big nozzle on the front of the hydrant that they would attach the pumper to. And if there was something burned up on it and it's a quick quarter turn, they're intended to be fast. I did hear about that, yeah.
Okay, and also when you replace hydrants, you're not just replacing a hydrant, you're also replacing a line underneath to make it a bigger line.
Well, that's right. When when the public only sees the short little,
Right.
the hydrant piece. It's got the vertical barrel, there's a 90 on the bottom. We buy a hydrant assembly, right? And so that includes, it includes the valve, the 6-inch valve, the horizontal line, the 90, the vertical portion of the hydrant, and the hydrant itself that everyone sees.
Right. And what's a typical time it takes to replace a hydrant?
You can certainly do one hydrant in a day. Sometimes if they're shallow, if they're not in high traffic areas, you can do 2 in a day.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's a full day to do it because we're always dealing with traffic and it's in a bad location and you gotta but certainly you can do one in a day.
So we're in shape now. We've got an inventory left of how many would you say?
We have, still, inventory, it's still in stock, dozen and a half.
Okay.
Currently, I mean, they're working on them. Anytime that they're not doing it, they'll go back and do back to hydrants
The
now.
water,
as soon as
it's
they're
the
done
water,
flushing.
the water crew that puts them in, right?
It's the water crew that does it.
And it's, so they do that amongst, with all their other work, so.
You fit it in,
You
right,
fit
I
it in
mean,
as you can, and
any day we don't have a water break, or there's not flushing, or there's not other, that's work that they'll go and do.
okay.
You know, and in their day-to-day, things. Another thing we wind up doing at least a couple of times a week is anytime we excavate and we find a service to a house that's lead, we've got to replace that, our side of the lead service, and we're supposed to do it within 45 days, and we've been way ahead of that primarily. The only time it gets out that far is usually when you discover them late in winter and everything's frozen.
Thanks, Mike.
Luis, do you have anything you want to discuss?
No, not necessarily.
We have 8 minutes, Mayor.
Okay.
To discuss.
Well, one thing I'd like to report is we're gonna make a transfer of the budget next week because we found out we won't need any new signs for our elder persons.
$5.
So I want to congratulate you all on saving us some money and not having us replace the signs. I think the voters made great choices. And it's been an honor to work with you for 2 years. It's going to be my honor to work with you for 2 more. So congratulations to all.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's all I got. So either that, I could sing my Christmas song, but.
Why don't you?
No, I don't have it. Anybody in the council have anything like to talk about? We've got a bunch of events coming up, with Veterans Day Parade, November 11th. There's going to be a parade on Guy Park Avenue as typical, and we'll march to the end of the city and honor our veterans in memory of the people who gave their lives for our country. There's a nice, a solemn but very, very nice ceremony that is well appreciated by our residents, so I'm looking forward to that. We have our tree lighting the day after Thanksgiving, I believe, right?
Mhm.
And at that time, we're going to give away as many, the balance of the coats. I don't know how many of you were able, I know that the council was there, but we were able to give away 600 coats at Esperanza Verde last Saturday. It was fantastic. And thank you, MVP, for donating those coats. It was, as I drove down there, I know there was a line of people waiting when it opened, but as I drove down there, the people walking down East Main Street back to their homes, it was just really fantastic. The coats are top quality coats, and really, really appreciative of that. And so they're gonna finish handing those out. Maybe they won't be able to finish handing, because I believe we have 1,000 coats, and we handed out 600 at the tree lighting ceremony. So that night, which is usually freezing cold, they will be handing out the rest of those coats, and it's just a great thing. And tonight we're gonna have an executive session. Do you want to talk the reason we're gonna have that executive session? Because I can never get it straight.
Pending the respective litigation.
Thank you. So we're gonna ask you to make a motion to go into executive session pending that. And that's really all I have.
Mayor, this is something that hasn't happened since I've been an alderman, but what do you know about the Amsterdam Veteran Service Medal Awards given on Veterans Day that was done in the past?
I think I don't know much about it at all. I do know, your reference to it reminds me of hearing about it. And I believe it was an award designed to just pay honor to veterans.
Was it for one particular person, or was it
That's what I don't know, Chris. I'd have to research it, but I do remember the phrase. I do remember people receiving one. I don't think it was just for one person. I think it was for more than one person.
Yeah, I think if I could, there was one, the last time we gave it to Tish and Glaze.
Okay. So
And
we're
that
going to-
was, my gosh, I think that was Memorial Day. And I think it was when Phil was mayor and we were at Veterans Park.
Okay.
But yeah, I think but it was when we had a city veterans committee. And they would give it, I think they
would do that.
decided, yeah.
Chris, did you bring it up for a reason? Do you have something you want to talk about?
A resident brought it up to me and asked
Okay.
me to inquire about it. And I thought, it was a good idea and, maybe we could reinstitute it if it was something that hasn't been done in a long time.
Yeah,
There's a
we
way
can
to-
research and figure out what the criteria was and get
Do we
back
still
to
have
you.
a Veterans Commission?
No.
No, we don't.
No, they told them.
No,
They were the ones who did all the stuff in the park and South Side, right?
correct, correct.
Monuments are-
And you bring up an interesting point. We had a call, maybe, or an email and a call, a couple months ago probably, where a Vietnam War veteran had asked why his name did not appear on the Fifth Ward War Memorial. And he gave us his name, and so we sent people over to look, and we didn't see it. And so we told him what the criteria was. The criteria was that he had to have been living on the South Side in the Fifth Ward at the time that he was inducted into the service. And he sent us all the proof that he was. And so we said, okay, well, we're gonna get your name on that monument. So Rec went back over, Rob Spagnola went back over to figure out where we were gonna put his name. And sure enough, we found his name. And some of those, because over the years, there have been omissions made. And when we had a Veterans Commission, they would use that. And since we weren't the Veterans Commission, we had no record of what was on there. It's just the monument. That's where it is. And sure enough, his name was there. But if there are any veterans out there who have the same issue or have the same concern, let us know and we'll do what we can. First of all, we'll look more closely at the monument to make sure it isn't there. If it is there, we'll point out where it is. But also, we will help get it on there. We will get it on there because it's definitely the service to our country. That monument is every monument in our city is so beautiful. And if you deserve to be on it, we want to make sure you're on it because it's an honor that will live on forever. So, but it's an interesting story. Chris will look into this for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you guys an article I just found. It looks like Rob Van Hoslen is the person to really ask about
Who
this.
else, right?
Who else?
Who else?
And it started in 2010 and the 120th anniversary of the city charter, and it looks like
Okay.
Rob Van Hoslen and Thane created it, so.
Well, maybe he's a good person to spearhead it.
He would be, yeah, exactly.
Okay, why don't we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Call me to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for signing tonight. Please call the roll.
Alderwoman Quist Demars.
Here.
Alderman Holliday.
Here.
Alderwoman Collins.
Here.
Alderman Carpenter.
Here, Alderman Marcelo is absent. And I'd like to welcome Jen to be here. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda with five resolutions, 1 consent, and 3 introductions.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Demars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
There are no proclamations this evening, communications and presentations, so therefore it's time for the public participation. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak to the council this evening? I do not see anyone there. So we did the engineering report, and there is no old business. God almighty, we're zipping right through this. So new business, we go on to the resolutions.
Resolution 2526-70, resolution adopting minutes from the public hearing by Alderman Carpenter.
So moved. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Demars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution 2526-71, resolution adopting minutes from last common council meeting by Alderman Carpenter.
So moved. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Demars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution 2526-72, resolution declaring the 2650-2018 TAP Amsterdam pedestrian improvements a type 2 action under seeker by Alderman Carpenter. Whereas
Just read the last two whereases and then therefore.
Whereas the proposed project is considered a type 2 action under seeker because it involves the replacement, rehabilitation, or reconstruction of existing sidewalk facilities and does not surpass any type 1 thresholds. And whereas type 2 actions do not necessitate a formal seeker determination or further review, such as completing an environmental assessment form, EAF, or environmental impact statement, EIS. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Amsterdam finds that the proposed 2650-2018 TAP Amsterdam pedestrian safety improvements is a type 2 action under 6 NYCRR 617.5 and is thus exempt from additional environmental review under seeker.
So moved.
Dan, do you want to say anything about this, about the TAP, about the Main Streets private project in terms of where we stand with it and when it's going to start?
Finalizing now, it's getting ready to put out the bid. This is the last step for the bid, for the design documents to be finalized. So expect to put out the bid shortly, and then construction should begin in the spring.
Does anyone have any questions of Dan? Okay.
Thank you, Dan. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins. Resolution 2526-73, resolution authorizing 5-year contract with New York State Unified Court System by Alderwoman Collins.
Okay, can you read the third whereas and then the resolve?
Whereas pursuant to Section 1 of the contract, New York State Unified Court System seeks to establish a new period of renewal retroactive to April 1st, 2025 and ending on March 31st, 2026, with maximum compensation to the City of Amsterdam for said period being $54,147, and resolve that the attached contract with the New York State Unified Court System is hereby authorized.
So moved. Any questions?
I just would like to comment on this. They had made a request to us to expand the space that they had in our public safety building. And Chief Spencer kind of spearheaded the study on this, and got us up to stuff. But back in 2010, they did a study. They came in because they needed more space, and there's no space there. And the only way to get space was the potential of filling that atrium, making their second floor in the atrium, and the cost of doing that was exorbitant. But they, in their request this year, they asked for more space, and the chief didn't want them to have the space that they had because they had taken space from us prior to this. So it was a surprise because to get this agreement, and it's calling for the status quo. So I think we should go ahead and, before they ask us again, say yes to this.
Thank you, Mayor.
Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
And thank you, Anthony, for handling that for us.
Resolution 2526-74, resolution approving the audit by Alderwoman Collins.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Resolution 2526-75, consent. Resolution authorizing the mayor to renew our engagement with Newman Inc. for consulting services relating to actuarial valuation in accordance with governmental accounting standards. Board statement number 75 by Alderwoman Collins.
Okay, so the fourth whereas and then the resolve.
Whereas the city would like to renew the agreement with Millman for a 2-year period covering 7/1/24 to June 30th, 2026. The cost for 1 year is $16,500 and $4,500 for year 2. Resolved that Mayor Cinquanti is authorized to engage Millman Inc. as set forth here above.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Mars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Now you have your
We're on to the ordinances. Ordinance J of 2025 to be known as ordinance number 6 of 2025 if adopted, introduction. An ordinance modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 228-58, Schedule 24, Children at Play, add sign to Wilbur Street at the intersection of Wilbur Street and Lindsay Street by Alderwoman Quist Mars.
Okay, I don't think you have to read the whole thing. And we're gonna do the public hearing at,
The public hearing will be held on November 18th, 2025 at 5:45 PM.
okay, thank you.
Ordinance K of 2025 to be known as ordinance number 7 of 2025 if adopted, introduction. An ordinance modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 228-58, Schedule 24, Children at Play, add sign to Brookside Ave at the intersection of Brookside Avenue and Story Street by Alderman Holliday.
Great, and this is gonna be at 5:50, am I correct?
Correct.
On the 18th?
Correct.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome. Ordinance L of 2025 to be known as ordinance number 8 of 2025 if adopted, introduction. An ordinance, modifying Amsterdam City Code Section 228-37, Schedule 3, school speed limits to add Julia Street from Church Street to Young Ave by Alderman Carpenter.
We're just changing that section. There was never change in front of the school.
And that public hearing will be held at 5:55 on November 18th.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session.
This would be pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105, Sub 1, Sub D, regarding discussions regarding proposed pending or current litigation.
Call the roll.
Okay, do I start with you?
Yes.
Now that'd be a.
No.
Right, can you
Start
imagine?
with them.
Yep.
No.
No, wait, yes, because I made the motion, yes.
Okay, great. Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Mars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
And Alderwoman Collins.
Louise, one quick
That was
second.
enough of that. We're gonna get it to the end.
Now, I told her we were gonna mess with her. and-
Yes, you did.
You
I
just
think
did
it
it.
might still be on, I think if you hit end one more time. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, Louise,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Louise, could you stick around?